All right, so hello and welcome everyone. We're here talking about Microsoft 365 New York City, coming up at the end of the month on July 31st at New York Times Square. I am here today with Pat McGown. Did I pronounce your last name correct, Pat?
You did.
McGown.
Thank you.
McGown.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm getting there. One day I'll get there. Who is with Cloudwell, who's one of the conference sponsors. So, Pat, welcome. Thanks for joining us. Thank you so much for being one of the sponsors for this great event. Uh, Tell me, can you first talk about yourself a little bit before we get into Cloudwell?
Sure. Yeah. Thanks, Diego, for the interview today. Always happy to connect with you. So, a little bit about myself. So, Pat McGown, the CEO of Cloudwell, Microsoft MVP for M365 Copilot and SharePoint. And I have been, let's see, around the community for quite some time. In the industry, I started my career back in 2002. So I got introduced to SharePoint very early on in some of the original instances. Got the opportunity to really start learning how to customize and deploy SharePoint at scale. Early on, it was in the kind of the federal space, but the verticals have expanded throughout my career and have had the opportunity to really just grow up alongside SharePoint my entire career. And see the transition into SharePoint Online and all the other capabilities that came along with that, and now Copilot. So and everything else that this wonderful era of AI is bringing us.
So now Cloudwell. When did it all begin? Can you tell us a little bit more about the organization?
Sure. Yeah. So I co-founded Cloudwell back in 2012. And, the idea there was that I had an opportunity. I spent my first 10 years of my career with a small business that grew, and ultimately got acquired. And I felt that there was just the right opportunity and time to try and lead a practice at another organization around these SharePoint and Microsoft technologies, and which I did so for about a year with my now co-founder Chris Lecco. And at that point in time, we decided, hey, we've had some opportunities, we have some customers that are knocking on our door, and we wanted to get started building what today is now 14 years later at Cloudwell. And since then, in those 14 years, we've had a lot of great milestones that we've achieved and recognitions and awards. You know, uh, None more than being recognized by Microsoft for being one of the top app providers on top of SharePoint for a couple of our apps, which we'll be showcasing in New York City. So please, come by and check them out. Happy to give you a demo.
So for the folks coming to check you out at Microsoft 365 New York City, what are the top apps in your list right now? Like what are the main things that you say? Okay, this is the one. This is the one that really give you value added for your organization. Can you tell us more about that?
Absolutely. So we have two apps that really stand out as what we would say our flagship apps. They're great from an add-on to any intranet or within Microsoft Teams as well. The calendar overlay, which was our first flagship app, gives you the ability to overlay and visualize calendars from any number of different sources. So you've got uh, Exchange, Outlook. You have calendars all over the place there. You've got events lists within SharePoint. Maybe you have planner plans; those have tasks and timelines associated with them. You've got iCal feeds coming from other line of business systems, HR systems, task management systems, and so within SharePoint or within Teams, you can add the web part or the tab where you're working with yourself or with your team, and see visualize all this event based data in one aggregate view. You can interact with the events themselves, get more information, see who's attending, see who's organized it, all the way down to building a solution on top of this to allow for like self service registration and things like that. So some really creative ways to use this solution for your organization. The other one would be our staff directory, which plain and simple what it is, right? It's the ability to view the staff within your organization in one space, have the ability to filter. Maybe you don't want to see service accounts or consultants, or maybe you want to have a separate view for consultants and a separate view for specific departments. But it's a very interactive, application that gives you all of that functionality, gives you contact information, see whose managers are, see their status on teams online and things like that. So all built, both applications built on top of the native tooling and platform within SharePoint and Microsoft 365. So it just feels like a really cohesive, expected experience within SharePoint and Teams.
Calendars is something that for those of us who have been working with SharePoint since the old on premise days, it used to be so simple to overlay calendars. And ever since I moved to the cloud, and ever since we all moved to the cloud, that was the one thing that every organization that I've worked for, everyone has always asked, hey, but I want to merge all these calendars into one view. I want to simplify that, and there has not been a full solution within Microsoft 365. So it's always been, something that third parties have done well. I've seen your solution. I know it's great. It's one that I highly recommend to people. So definitely, if you're coming to New York, come talk to Pat. Come check it out. Great, great, great solution. Uh, same thing for same thing for Staff Directory, like you said. Nowadays when you use so many different service accounts, like using Power Platform and all that, it's very very hard if you're browsing your Entra, your Entra accounts, like to really figure out, okay, who is who in the organization. I only want internal employees. I don't want consultants. So absolutely, looking forward to having this conversation with you more in New York. For others coming, please, please, please come talk to Pat. So, as far as the event in New York, what are you looking forward to the most?
Seeing you, Diego.
Oh,
Just the folks. First and foremost, I love this event. I would say fortunate enough to be able to sponsor this event. But and being an organizer for the event that we host, a similar event that we host in the DC metro area, I really just love getting together with the people, taking in the day. Um, Seeing it from so many different perspectives too, right? Seeing it from the attendees perspective, the speakers perspective, the sponsors, and all the volunteers and organizers involved. So much work goes into these things. And I understand that even as an attendee, it's not just as simple as, hey, show up. Oftentimes you have to either take that day off, right? Take a personal day of leave from your work. So you're, potentially not getting paid or doing it on your own time. You've got to ask for, manager approval. And so there's a commitment on all sides of this to make such a wonderful community day really come together. And it's not just the, it's a great learning opportunity, right? You go into a session on a topic that you want to learn more about. Maybe you want to ask the expert, the speaker, some deeper technical questions that'll help you complete a task that you're working on at your job. But also just the conversations in the hallways, and, the ability to come together with other folks, and like-minded individuals. It just is such a powerful day. So I'm really just looking forward to being there and being in the moment to enjoy, really all facets of it.
absolutely, man. Like the New York event is going to be great. If you have not signed up for it yet, please do M365NYC.com. It is going to sell out. So please get your tickets right now. But I have another question for you. So at the event, we will have a gov tech track. So mostly focused on government. So I know there will be some government participants at the event, attendees, and all, in session and government focused sessions as well. So the thing that I always asked, or I always get asked whenever I'm talking about something, some new functionality in SharePoint is this out for GCC yet? So are your offerings out for government? Like, are government employees able to use the apps that you've developed? Like, how would that work?
Yes, no, they absolutely do. Obviously, there are limitations on some of like the Graph API endpoints and how things are called, but absolutely, our solutions are deployed in GCC High. So no limitations from that perspective. We obviously want to make sure that we can support all the different types of tenants. And we're in education, we're in commercial, right? So we've through the years really worked through what it takes to get deployed in an environment like that. What's unique about certain things like profile properties are different in an education tenant versus a commercial tenant. So, we've built on deploying those solutions in those environments over the years to ensure that we are compliant and that we will work as expected.
You see, guys, you heard it from Pat, not from me. Please come talk to him. Please sign up again. M365NYC.com, Microsoft Times Square, July 31st. It's coming up. It is going to sell out. It is going to be a great event. I am so looking forward to it. And, you should be there too. Uh, Pat, thank you so much for being with us. Any final thoughts today?
Um, we're gonna have a selfie station up there. Gonna have some fun stickers and the ability to get those photos and download them on your own and share them on a wall. We love to see the engagement, but really just looking forward to seeing you all and learning more about what you loved about these events and how we can improve them and do better. But yeah, please enjoy it. Come check it out and check out communitydays.org as well if you're looking for other events in different regions.
Yes, yes, yes. Oh, amazing. Pat, thank you so much for being with us today. Looking forward to seeing you at the event on the 31st. Again, once again, it is going to sell out, you guys. Don't forget to get your tickets right now, m365nyc.com. Okay. Thank you so much once again. And, I'll see you at the end of the month.
Sounds great, Diego. Take care.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye.
everyone.